Let's bring in Ross Gerber. He is president and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management, a longtime shareholder, though, Ross, you've told me that you've been trimming as a result of some of the volatility. Am I overstating it to say that this is kind of a thesis changer, depending on how these results shake out?
It's funny because I wish that wasn't true, but it actually is. I mean, I don't really know what Tesla sees itself as moving forward, because they have pivoted away from selling EVs, which is really their main business, to talking a lot about robots and AI, but yet Elon's building his AI project outside of Tesla. So, I'm very concerned about, especially the $25,000 car, which is actually like a Model Y at this point. They've lowered prices so much. But the lower price vehicle that's really meant to address a huge market in the world is crucial to Tesla's long-term success. So any clarity we can get about the strategy for Tesla moving forward will be beneficial.
So let's unpack that, because this $25,000 vehicle has always, according to Musk, been the goal, right? He wants to lower it. He wants to make it accessible. Then this report comes out from Reuters that they've abandoned that. And then Musk sort of says, no, that's not true, but would have abandoned it for what? Robo-taxis, right? And that maybe if you have robo-taxis, you don't really need this cheaper car. Is that a vision that he could sell you?
No, it's not a vision he can sell me at all, because the robo-taxi business is yet to be determined, the economics of whether this will actually be a good business at all, let alone make more sense than selling the car for 25 grand or whatever. So, I think robo-taxi as a longer term vision is certainly nice, but we're in the EV sales business, and I don't think anybody should be confused that if we aren't selling a low-cost car in the next 2 years, it's a thesis-changing issue for Tesla. And replacing that with robo-taxi isn't something that will be compelling, at least to me, because I think there's many barriers that have nothing to do with the technology that will keep Tesla from having robo-taxis anytime soon. And this is called humans and governments. And so until humans and governments, are okay with robo-taxis, I think it's going to be some time before we see this in sort of scale. So the real issue with Tesla is we're in the car sales business, and if we're not making these cars, where do we go from here?
So that's interesting, because I've had some people come on the show and say, talking about Tesla as a car business, it's like talking about Amazon as a book business. You're just kind of missing the forest here, and that you have to think about it as, the grid and how it's going to be this power player, which seems speculative, right, to do that. And it sounds like you're not doing that, even though you have been this long-time bull on Tesla.
And once again, I think it's nice to have fantastical visions of technology in the future, but that's not what stockholders or investors are paying for. What they're paying for are actual results. So what we care about is, are earnings going to grow over the long term? Will these investments pay off for investors over the long term? And that's what matters. And if you can't really quantify what this business model is even going to look like for robo-taxi, because what we fear is that, I've been calling it technology, what happens is transportation becomes a commodity. And so the cost of driving people around in robo-taxis will probably drop, dramatically. So, I'm just really concerned, because you can say, oh, we're not in the EV business, but we are in the EV business. We sell $100 billion worth of EVs a year. So, that's what's most important, I think.
Are you close to giving out? If you don't get the answers that you're looking for this quarter, would you sell your position?
Well, we've sold a lot of our position already. We still have a ton of Tesla, and it's all profit. So it just depends on each client, and we've talked to each client. Our relationship with our clients is actually the most important things to us. So we're really just having these conversations with clients of what they're comfortable doing. Now, we've had many clients sell all their Tesla, especially people among the communities he's attacked. And we've had many clients that we've advised to lower their position because we've had so much Tesla in the past. And those moves have saved our clients tens of millions of dollars of losses. So, I think it's time for investors to really assess if this is a mature company, look at the valuation, the PE ratios in comparison to its peers like NVIDIA and Google, and there's just no justification for Tesla to have a higher multiple than NVIDIA.
Well, that's interesting that some clients have sold because of who Musk is as a person, and I think that's a great debate on the street right now. Is is there a Musk discount to this, as much as maybe there was a Musk premium because he has been such a genius in so many industries. How do you think about what Musk is up to outside of Tesla and how that is affecting it as a stock to own?
Right. So I think as Tesla grew in the good days, everybody perceived Tesla as like, and they perceived Elon as basically climate and space Elon, which was really actually a positive thing, and taking the Teslas down to the launch pads was a very, great marketing moments for SpaceX and Tesla. And it was sort of like, how do we not like this guy? And then when he bought Twitter, basically the whole thing fell apart, because once he started espousing his actual viewpoints, which pretty much anybody would argue is pretty divisive, he proceeded to go about pissing off pretty much every group of people other than white people at this point. So it's really hard to sell cars when the CEO on a daily basis is attacking either people. And now we're just going after full countries with Australia and Brazil now in the hating Elon camp. So it's just like, I just don't understand, like, what's the strategy for X or Tesla when all you're doing is basically turning people off.
And well, as he said in the past, trying to lord money over him is not really effective, given his position in the world. But that does bring up the sort of adults in the room, as you will, at a time where two of the four executives left. Are you also looking for clarity? Do you think we might get it on, like, what is the leadership structure there?
Well, we know the leadership structure. It's called Elon. And the leadership structure is, if you question Elon, you will lose your job. And if you do anything outside the scope for the benefit of Tesla, you will lose your job, like Rohan. The fact that Drew is gone, we lost Zach. There's essentially no seasoned, long-term managers that we grew up with left at Tesla. We have clients who have worked at Tesla, and one in particular who was let go of Tesla, a week ago, who I spent some time with this weekend, actually, who told me a lot of things, and 0% of it was very good. So Tesla has a culture problem. They've got a lot of issues with all their different projects and a lack of management at this point, because they've let go of so many seasoned managers.